step into whenever Jesus says, come and follow me, we'll either choose to step into that or we'll choose to be distracted. Just like the guys and just like the folks on the Sea of Galilee that day. Now again, I can't tell you that this is the way it happens. But as Wesleyans, we believe that God gives us the power to choose. You get to choose if you're going to receive a fresh revelation or not. You get to choose if you're going to walk with God or not. You get to choose, am I going to trust God or am I going to trust myself? Am I going to submit my ways to Him or am I just going to do my own thing? You get to choose, and because you get to choose, I just wonder. I wonder if the story could have gone something like this. I wonder if whenever Jesus was walking along that shore with all of the people going on, it wasn't just Peter and John in their boat here and Peter and Andrew there and James and John and their dad Zebedee was over here, and that's all that was there. So this, the guy just comes walking through. There was lots of people coming and going. And I wonder if on that day, Jesus issued his invitation to come follow me. I wonder if he issued it to a lot of people. But only those that said yes are the ones that we remember. I wonder if Jesus stopped at some other people along the way and said, hey, I'd like you to follow me. I want to make you fishers of men. And they were too distracted with what they were doing. They had too much stuff going on. I mean, Peter almost missed it. John almost missed it as well. In fact, whenever you look for it in the Gospels, you can see story after story after story of Jesus correcting the distractions because he wanted to give a fresh revelation. Martha was distracted with good things, almost missed the revelation. The rich man was distracted with his money, and he did miss the revelation. The crippled man at the pool of Bethsaida was distracted by his condition, came this close to missing the revelation. John and James were distracted on the week of Christ's crucifixion because of their desire for power and position. You can see story after story of times where people were distracted because here's Jesus saying, I want to give you more of who I am. I want to teach you what it means to come and follow me. And sometimes people would say yes to him, and other times they just get distracted because of the stuff of life. I just wonder. I can't say this for true. I'm not saying take this one to the bank. I am saying that I personally, in the theater of my mind, I can see Jesus walking along that shoreline, and I can see it taking him a while to finally find some people to say yes because they were so distracted by the stuff that they were doing. I mean, we're here to catch fish. We're here to make money. We're here to take care of our families. We got stuff to do. And Jesus is going, if you just trust me, if you put down your nets, I'll change your life. So I just wonder how many times in my life I have forfeited a revelation because I was distracted by my own stuff. I wonder how many times Jesus has told me over the years, without raising his voice, come and follow me. And the chaos of all of the rest of my life drowns out that voice. And I do my own thing and miss the revelation that Jesus has for me when he says, why don't you just come and follow me? I'm going to teach you some things. What I do know is that receiving a fresh revelation calls you and I to embrace the mystery and his mission. Come and follow me, and I'm going to send you out to fish for people. I'll make you fishers of men. I don't think these guys had any idea what they were getting themselves into. Just because God gave them a revelation that day, and just because in that moment, here's Jesus saying, come and follow me. I cannot in the wildest parts of my imagination think that here's Peter saying, oh, this is going to be great. You're going to go die on a cross, and then the whole world after you is going to remember that. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to be a part of that. No, I doubt they had any idea what they were getting into. Jesus says, just come and follow me. Just come spend some time with me. Just let me teach you what life is really all about. And there's plenty of reason for them in that moment to have said, I don't really, you're going to have to fill in a few more blanks before I do this. You're going to have to make it clear. I'm a detail kind of person. I'm not personally, but some of you are, and I'm praying that God releases you from that. But, for you detail kind of people, I can just imagine the quandary you would have had in that moment. Jesus saying, come and follow me. Where are we going? Are you going up the shore this way? Or are we going down that way? What are we going to do? What's your plan? How is this going to work out? Jesus says, you're going to have to trust me. Come, follow me. It's so open-ended. It's hard. It would have been hard. It's easy for us. The problem that we have is we know the rest of the story too well. But here's Peter. I'm just trying to make a living. I'm just trying to, come and follow me. Can I remind you today that whenever you say yes to Jesus, you're saying yes to the things you don't understand as much as the things that you do understand. And if you're waiting to understand in order to step in, you will never step in. If you're waiting for him to fill in all of the blanks and make it clear and, this is what it looks like. Okay, I get it now. I see how it's all going to work out. I see how it's all going to end. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I see where there's going to be some stuff along the way, but boy, the prize at the end, I get it. No, you're not always going to get it. Jesus just wants you to get it in here. And there is a point that you have to decide if I'm waiting for it to make sense, if I'm waiting for God to always make sense, I will miss the revelations along the way. And the part that is what's crazy about this is the mystery of the mission is what he invites you and I to. And we're going to take some time to look at that a little bit more over the weeks ahead. But in that moment, Jesus is telling Peter, you have no idea what fishing for men is all about. But you will. You may not have a heart for those around you, but you will. You may not even have an understanding or even an interest in this thing called grace, but you will. You may only see the cross as an emblem of suffering and shame, but I'm going to help you with that as well. The reason that Jesus said he could help him with that is because that's what Jesus did, and that's who Jesus was. And if we're in for fresh revelations, we just need to swallow this. We just got to take it in. If we're in for experiencing God's love, who do you think God wants to use in expressing it to the world around you? You and I. I'm going to teach you, if you'll just come and follow me, I'm going to teach you what it means to spread my love. I'm going to teach you what it means to talk about grace. I'm going to teach you what it means to forgive others. I'm going to teach you all of this. Oh, I get it. You don't understand all that now, but if you'll just come and follow me, if you'll just learn to sit at my feet, I'm going to teach you a little bit more each day what it means. And the mystery will start coming together with fresh revelations. But if we want it all to make sense, and if we start leaning on our own understanding, we will miss the revelations that God has for us. Well, this story gets a little bit it takes some interesting twists and turns in Peter's life and maybe just like in ours, because many times a fresh revelation waits for desperation on my part. Luke remembers this story a little bit differently. He adds in a few things that Matthew evidently forgot. Maybe Matthew's pen was low on ink. We don't really know. But Luke gives a few details that Matthew missed. Here's Peter, and he had been fishing, and Jesus says, put out in the deep water first. And, he's talking about teaching him a few things. He uses an illustration. And Peter responds this way whenever Jesus says, go put out in the deep water and let down your nets for a cast. Peter answered this way, we've worked hard all night and we haven't caught anything. But because you say so, we'll let down our nets. We've worked this thing. I know this lake like the back of my hand. I know fishing. It's what I've done. It's what my dad did. It was handed down to me. I know how to do this kind of stuff. And today was just not a good day. Today the fish just weren't getting in the net. We've worked hard. We haven't caught anything. And I just kind of want to go home. My hands are, they're just tired. I just kind of want to be done. Can I tell you today that some of you have been working really hard to make life work? It's not working. And just like Peter, you could find yourself at that point to say, we've tried really hard, we've worked really hard. But because you say to let down our nets again, because you're throwing out something to us, then I'm going to trust you with it. It was at that moment that Peter was saying, I don't know all that you're going to do, Jesus. I barely even know you. But I'll give it a shot. I wonder if today, sometimes because we feel like we've got to get it all figured out on our own, we miss the revelation. And just like Peter, we would do well to say, Jesus, I don't have you all figured out. I don't know what all your plan is. I just know that my plan is not working. I just know that me trying to figure out life on my terms, it's not working. The harder I work, the worse it seems to get. And can I tell you today that this is a safe place to admit to God that me trying harder, it's not working. And I know that we live in a culture where we've just got to prop ourselves up and we got to make sure that, we succeed and we push forward and we get through and we, I, me, I can handle it. Where here's Peter saying, I don't know what all you're about, Jesus. I just know that I need something to change. I may not have you all figured out. I just know that what I'm doing isn't working. And I've got good news for you today. You don't have to figure it all out in order to trust God. You don't have to have him all figured out in order to take that next step of just whenever Jesus says, come and follow me, you say, okay, I'll try it. Let's just think about this on a logical level. If you're frustrated with life, if you know there's just something not right within, what do you got to lose? And to just say, okay, God, I'll give you a shot. I'll trust you at least with a little bit. So Luke remembers Peter lowers down the nets and then they get all full and then he calls these other guys, James and John, hey, come help us. We got bumper crop now. We got to get all these fish in. You'd think that would be just a great moment. Be like, yeah, that's good. We're on board. We're making this thing happen. But then Peter says something and he does something that if we miss this, I think we've missed the whole point of the whole story. Christy, go ahead and come on up. You see, here's the fish breaking the nets, trying to get them in the boat. Everything would seem to be great. And Peter looks at Jesus at that moment. And he says, you got to get away from me. In fact, Luke paints this picture. He says, Peter fell down at Jesus' feet, which gives indication that he literally, he comes out. Gerald, go ahead and come here for just a minute. We got to kind of get a visual on this. You get to be Jesus. You okay with that? Come on up here. So here's Jesus. And here's Peter. And he gets all these fish, and it's all this great. I actually trusted God, and he came through. Who'd have thunk that? And you'd think all that is great. But in Luke, Luke remembers that Peter in that moment, he goes to his feet, and he just grabbed, don't fall. He grabs Jesus, and he's like, you got to leave me. I'm a sinful man. I don't deserve for you to be around me. I mean, you got to go. You got to leave me. And Jesus going, I can't. You're hanging on. Thank you. Peter says, depart from me, because I'm a sinful man. You see, revelation and conviction go hand in hand. God doesn't just give you a revelation so that you can feel good about your life. God doesn't give you a revelation so that you can have one of those spiritual high points and it's all going to be, oh, wow, awesome, great. No, when God gives you a fresh revelation, He reveals your need for Him. And we have to make a decision on how we're going to respond to that. And here's Peter saying, I don't know what all you're doing. I don't fully know who you are. I don't understand what it means to follow you and this whole fishing for men. And I don't know all of that. I just know that there's a connection between you and I, that if I don't go ahead and admit to you that I need you, then I'm going to miss what you're trying to do right now. So in an odd way, here's Peter hanging on saying, you got to get away from me. I don't deserve you. You see, Jesus is waiting for you and I to cry out to Him. You don't have to impress Him. You don't have to overcome your stuff and then give God the thanks for it. It's not the way it works. When Jesus looks at you and I and says, come and follow me, at the deepest part, He's saying, I want to show you more about who I am, and I want you to experience my love, but you're going to have to let me. And that's why we embrace conviction. We don't run from it. Conviction says this, Jesus, you see me for who I am, and you still can change me into who you're calling me to be. But I'm going to have to let you do it. Condemnation says, Jesus, you see me who I am, and I'm terrible, and that's all there is to it. Jesus didn't come into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world. And the way He does it is when we receive His conviction. When we say, okay, God, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to receive you. I'm going to ask the praise team to go ahead and come on up. As they're coming, just some questions for you today. I've been praying all week, and especially this morning, not that we would just have a fresh revelation, but that we would have a response to His revelation. And these simple words, come and follow me. Go ahead and stand if you would. I want you to consider these just for a moment. Is there anyone here today that would like to trade your distraction for a revelation? Can't have both. So does anyone like to trade your distraction for a revelation? Is there anyone here today that would like to embrace the mystery of the kingdom through a fresh revelation? Is there anyone today that would be willing to admit your desperation so that you can experience this revelation of come and follow me? Would you be willing to admit your need for God's grace as He extends it to you, as He says, come and follow me. I'm going to clean you up. I can fix the broken areas of your life. I can do this, but I can't do it if you just hold back. You see, when we resist God, God resists our pride. When we say, not today, tomorrow, then God says, but I've got a fresh revelation for you today. Why would you forfeit that? Today, God has those fresh words for you. Come, follow me. I've got some amazing things hidden behind door number 1, 2, and 3. I'm just asking for you to take that step of obedience. While we're singing this, I just think there's some kingdom business that God wants to do with a number of us today. I don't want to just close the service with, that was a good song and good message. I want to close with an encounter with Him. And if God is knocking on your heart's door, if He's got your number today, then let's respond. Let's step out and let's say, yes, God, I want that fresh revelation. I'm going to follow you. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm going to follow you. I'm going to trust you. Let's sing this together, and let's respond as God tells us to.